Hey guys and girls, welcome back to another beautiful video on this beautiful channel on this beautiful day. How are you guys and girls doing? Hope you're doing great as always. Today we're going to talk about the player character. We're going to set it up, sprites and stuff. We're going to do all that. We're not going to move the character today. That's going to be in the upcoming videos, but today is going to be about sprites and how to split them up and how to work with that. Now the package we downloaded is really good. So it's already all done, split up and everything. The thing is that when you get a sprite sheet, you're going to have to tell Unity how to cut it up so you get your individual sprites so you can animate them later. But for us in this package, we're going to have everything cut up for us already, even some animation files already ready for us. But we're going to do everything from scratch, so don't worry. It's not about doing stuff quick here. It's about learning how to do it. So I created a little sprite sheet here as well, which we're going to use to cut up later in a normal way, how you would do it. But let's go back to our assets and let's start working with the Sunnyland artwork. So the first step is to go to our Sunnyland artworks folder and try to find the sprites for our player, since that is what we're going to be working with. So player and idle, since that's the first animation state. The player is always going to be in an idle state when it's not moving, and it's going to kind of be breathing. If you've seen in other games, they just stand there and just breathe. Just an idle animation, so there's just not one image standing still because that looks really unnatural. So you have an idle animation here. All of these sprites look different. And you can see they're kind of small. Like if I were to drag this out, it's super small. We don't want to do that. So let's look at what options we have when we click on this. Once we get here in the inspector, we'll see what type it is. Well, it's a sprite 2D. Sprite mode is single. This is something we're going to talk about later when we're going to splice our sprite sheet. But this basically just tells Unity that there's just one single sprite in this image. Pixels per unit is the size. So if you look at the square here, that's a unit. Now we're going to see how many pixels across and high is going to be depending on one of these units. So I'm just going to say 16 here for this image. And then we have to look at some other things. Everything else looks fine, but I want you to check filter mode. Now, if it's not on point, it should be on point. Sometimes it's on billionaire. Put it to point so we don't have any filter on it. It looks really crisp, looks like a really nice pixel arty style. And then the last thing is compression. So we don't want any compression. If you have it on normal, put it to none if you want that really clean pixel art form. Otherwise, you can get some artifacting around the pixels. They can be different colors. There can be some stuff because Unity is trying to compress the file for you and it causes a lot of issues. So once you're done here, everything looks correct. You set it to 16, click apply. And if I drag our player in now, it's going to look a lot more crisp and a lot bigger. So this looks great. The thing is that we have other files here with 100. So what I want to do is I want to shift click all of these, and just set this to 16 for all of them and make sure everything is correct here. Point, no filter, and none, and then hit apply. And then any other frame I put in here will be the same size. So once we drag the first frame into the scene, it looks like we have a game, but nothing's going to happen. There's no animations, there's no movement, there's nothing. So what we need to do is we need to start working a little bit, at least on the physics of the character to get it ready for the coming videos. So let's click on this and let's see here. So player idle 1 doesn't sound like a good name, so I'm going to just call it player. Once that's done, I want to add some physics to the character. Now physics would be if I were to drag this up here and I would hit play, nothing's going to happen. But I want the character to at least fall down. It doesn't even have to hit this, just want something to happen. So keep our character up here and let's try to add some physics to it. Now, the main way to add physics is through something called a rigid body component. So I'm going to search for rigid body and you'll find two. There's one for 3D and one for 2D. Let's click on the 2D one. Once you do that, you'll have a rigid body component attached to your player, just like we did with the collider for the map. So the player has the rigid body component. You don't have to think too much about all of these. Just leave them as they are. We'll talk about these when the time comes. One thing we're going to have to do later is look at the constraints, but I'll explain that in a minute. Now let's just run this to see how this works. So I'm falling through the map. Perfect. That's just what we want. It's not a problem. The reason we didn't collide with this is because the map has a collider set to it. Has a little box here, but the player doesn't. So the player doesn't have a collider to collide with anything. So it's just going to go through everything. So let's add a box. If you remember how to do that, I'll just type collider and it will say box collider 2D. You know what we can do? We can use a capsule collider because that's a little more natural for player characters. A box has really hard edges. And if I were to add the box collider, you'll see it will be around the sprite. It won't be around the player. It will be around the maximum edges of the image. Since you remember, the player is within the image, but the whole image itself is this big. And we don't want that. So I'm just going to click these three little dots here and I'm going to say remove component. I'm going to add a new one and I'm going to add the capsule collider 2D. Now you'll have kind of a similar issue here. Let me put this down here so you can see it. It's a similar issue here that it's around the image and not the player, but luckily we can edit it. So you just choose how you want to do it. I'll click right here. Then you'll find 4 points that you can move. So I'm going to move it into a little more natural position. In a 2D game, you don't really want every pixel to be collided with. So I'll put it kind of around the body area like that, so you don't get annoyed when you get hit and it feels unfair. So once you have that done, you just click on the box icon again, the editor icon. And let's look at how this looks now. So what we did was we just moved the offset a little bit and we resized it. Basically, that's all you have to do. And now you can just drag your player up here again, like we had it, like that. And I'll run this. And what will happen now, which we didn't see now, is that the player should actually fall and roll around, but that didn't happen. But it can, because there's no lock saying that the player can't roll, since the edges, the bottom edges are round. See, since they're round, it can cause an issue. Now I'm seeing here that the collider is a little too, let me just drag that up a little bit, just right, so it's kind of pixel perfect. There we go. It doesn't have to be perfectly exact. Once we do this now, what I want to do is I want to freeze the player from rolling about. And if you look here, if I click on the 2D icon, you'll see that the blue line, the blue arrow, is the Z axis. Now we don't want the player to roll, so I don't want this to happen. If I drag the player like this, I do not want that to happen, right? So how do we make that lock? The way you do it is you just go to your rigid body 2D and you go to the constraints, which we just pulled up earlier, but I still forgot, and you click in freeze rotation Z, or whatever you want to call it. And now I don't know if we'll see a difference just yet, but we know in our hearts, deep in our hearts, that the player will never roll over again. And now that looks nice, the feet against the ground as well. Looks perfect. So now we have a player with some physics and a collider. There's an important topic that we want to bring up this video, and that is sorting layers. Now we've talked about sorting orders in layers, but everything we have is in the default layer right here. So if you look at your renderers, that's where you'll tell Unity how to render and in what order, right? Now everything is in default. Whatever I click, you'll see is default, 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 default. And that's one big layer. We have everything in one box and we're telling it how to render. And that means that we can't really be that flexible. We have to have a lot of numbers. You can do it this way, but it just makes stuff annoying. You know, it doesn't make it as clear. So what you want to do is we want to go to the sorting layers in any of these objects. We want to click that and we want to say add sorting layers. We have our default, but I'm going to add some more stuff. I'm going to add background, middle ground, tiles, foreground, and layer. Now I'm actually going to drag player, so you can click and drag it. So I'm going to drag player up here because the foreground should be ahead of the player. And the tiles player should be out of the tiles. Tiles should be out of middle ground, and middle ground will be background. So this is your actual order here. As you create them, you'll set the order. So whatever I add to the player will be behind whatever we add to the foreground by default. So we don't have to touch the numbers or anything. If I have several things in the foreground that I want to control how they should be rendered, in what order, then I'll go change the sorting orders for those objects in the foreground layer. So I know it can be a little complicated, but just try to bear with me and try to play with this, and I'm sure you'll get it pretty quickly. So once you added these up, let's go here. Now nothing is added to our layers yet. We just have a bunch of layers to play with now. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to set everything to 0. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to set that to 0. All of the middle sections I'm going to set to 0. The background was 0 and the tiles as well. We're going to set those to 0. They were 0 already, and the player is 0 by default. So once that's done, you'll see everything is kind of a mishmash now. It could be either any way. So what we can do is we can start adding things to the layers. So I'll click on my player. It's better to work with the hierarchy tab here actually. So player, I'll add that to the player layer. The background will add to the background layer. The middle objects, you just shift select all of those. We'll add that to middle ground. And you'll see everything is kind of popping up just like it should. And the tiles should be on the tile layer. And whatever we add to the foreground layer, we will add to the foreground layer. So perfect. Now you'll see the order in the layers is 0, but they're all in different layers. So, and then this order, you can actually see the order here as well. And it's really easy to just visualize what will come before what and what will be rendered before what. So this is really good. Now I promised one last thing, and that was to show you how to split the sprite up. But first things, let's see what the issue is. So we just talked about that quickly. If I go to my idle animation here, so there's different sprites, different images for each of these. And the creator was nice enough to do this for us because it makes our life a little easier. Some animation stuff here, which we'll remove later. But it's all done for us. But that's not always the case. Sometimes you have an asset that looks like this. And it's just one image with a big image in it. And if I drag that in here, and add it to the player layer just so we can see it. You see it's really small and it's really like yucky. It doesn't really work. We can't really do anything with this. It's just an image, right? There's no real way to make this into individual pieces here. So what we have to do is we have to kind of work with it a little bit. So I'll remove that. And if I click on the sprite sheet, you'll see we get our options up here again. So what is the issue here? What have you learned? Well, the first thing we want to look at is sprite mode. Since now we don't have one image in the sprite sheet, we have several. So I want to change that to multiple just to tell Unity that, hey, look, we have a lot of different sprites in here. We need to cut them up. So you do that. And then I want to make it bigger. So I want to say we still want the 16 pixels per unit here. And then mesh type, you don't have to worry about. Let's remove the filtering. So point no filter. And let's remove the compression and apply that. So now once you've got this ready, you won't be able to open the sprite anymore. You have to go to the sprite editor here to change this about. Now, when I created this sprite itself, it wasn't really well done. I just created it quickly. So there's a lot of weird padding stuff going on, but at least in the horizontal, it's correct. So let's just go through the sprite editor real quickly. What do we have? Well, we have the options here. You don't have to really think about this right now, but the slice part is the important one. This is the controls for how to split this sprite up into multiple sprites. So we have our type. This is the type of how Unity will cut it up, either automatically if you trust it, or grid by cell size, count, or isometric grid. These are the two ones we'll work with. So I'll click on grid by cell size, and it will let me know, okay, what are the individual diameters or parameters? What do you call it? Individual sizes of each of the sprites. And for me, I know it's 34 because I cut it a little weird. So 34, 34, perfect. But what you'll see then is that there's an exact cut here, but there's a bunch of space left over here. Now, the thing is, when I created this, I had one in padding. So there's 1 pixel of padding between each of these images. So in the padding X axis, I'll just click in 1. I'll type in 1 here. So this is our size for each of these. You'll see they'll grow and get smaller. And then you have padding, which is in between these images. So you click it to 1, type in 1 here, and you're good to go. And just click slice. Once you've done that, hit apply, and then you can click on the individual ones and move them about if you want. You can change those up individually if you want to do that. It's really flexible. So once that's done, close it down, save whatever you did, and then click on the little arrow down here, and you'll see all of your individual sprites. Now I can move this into the world and put that to the player, and you'll see it looks almost exactly like our player here. Now you see we have two things in the player sorting layer, and they are both on 0. So this player comes behind the real player, if you want to call it that. But if I set this to 1, it will pop out ahead. So these two are just interacting with each other in their own layer. It doesn't care really about the other layers. So I'm just going to delete this old sprite sheet. Hopefully this tutorial was good and you learned something from this. In the next one, we're going to add a movement controller to the player just so we can move it around, and maybe we'll add some more tiles. I'll do that. So thank you for watching this video. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.